Well, good morning, and it's time for another episode of Hearing Him First. This happens to be episode number 40, if you're keeping track. And if you're not familiar with Hearing Him First, it's a collection of short videos that are designed to help you hear Him first, hear God first, hear His voice the loudest, the clearest throughout the day. So if you're watching this live, great. And if you're watching this any other time, maybe it can be a reset button for you when you're watching it to help you hear God first. And today I want to look at a passage from Genesis chapter 12. This is the calling of Abraham. And it's a very, very famous passage of Scripture, but I want to focus on one particular phrase that occurs a couple of times in there. So if you have a Bible and you want to open it to Genesis 12, you can. Otherwise, I'll read this to you in the New International Version, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. So the Lord said to Abraham, "Leave your country, your family, your people, your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you." And what stood out to me are the two times that God says to Abraham that he will be a blessing, that Abraham will be a blessing. And it's a familiar passage where God is promising blessing, protection, and prominence to Abraham. And yet he's also saying that as he does that, Abraham's going to be a blessing to others, a conduit of blessing, that the blessing will flow down from God into Abram's life and then out into the world through him. And I believe the same is true for us as believers, as Christians, as followers of Christ, that we receive the greatest blessing imaginable when we receive forgiveness and the opportunity to spend eternity in the presence of God and to spend our lives in the family of God. And yet we're called as well to join forces with God to be a blessing to others. So like Abram, we are blessed in order to be a blessing. And this requires faith and obedience on our part to trust that God's going to keep his promise and that our eternities are secure. And if you read on in Genesis, you'll see that Abram struggles to trust God in this way. In the next chapter, he goes down to Egypt and he lies to them, saying that his wife is actually his sister, so that they won't kill him and take his wife. And if he had really trusted God, that all of God's promises would be made true, then he wouldn't have worried about the Egyptians killing him. The same sort of repeats itself when he goes to Philistia. He lies to Abimelech, the king of Philistia, in the same circumstances. And he just struggles a number of different times to trust that he is blessed to be a blessing, that God is going to protect him, that God is going to provide for him, that God is going to give him great prominence. And so as we apply these things to our own lives, and as we apply this principle to our own lives, that we are blessed to be a blessing, we can trust God that he will keep his promises to us, and that he will work things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purposes, as Romans 8:28 promises us. And as we do that, we will find that we receive the blessings of God in order for them to flow through our lives into the lives of others. And so that's my prayer for us today, that little thought. Maybe you can chew on that a little bit and ask God, how have you blessed me in order to be a blessing to somebody else? And so I hope that encourages you. If you like this, feel free to share it. You can direct people to it. You can go out to YouTube, search Hearing Him First, where the channel that comes up. Subscribe to that if you haven't already. That helps us out, helps it reach more people. We're starting to see some traffic, people that I have never met. But because people are watching the videos on YouTube, YouTube's pushing them out to other people. And when they search for something like this, they find it. And that's kind of cool. So if you want to do that, great. If you want to share it on your Facebook page or share it on other social media platforms, that's awesome. And I hope you have a fantastic day, a fantastic week, and that you hear him first. God bless.